Hey friends! Today's layout is going to be recreating this sketch here. This is from Jema, and I am going to kind of switch that up a little bit. So I'm cutting my pieces to what dimensions she recommended, and I'm using a lot of the Weekend Adventures DSP. Over on this side, instead of having those smaller photos, I printed a 3x3 and a 3x4. And then I'm thinking some gray over here, and we'll bring that onto the other side. Do I want the light side or the dark side? This is two-toned. And then I have my larger photos. So this is my husband, and we're shooting his rifle. We're doing some target shooting. And my dog helping me load it. She's such a good help. That I'll include this one, but it was printed, and then I have a couple more 3x4s, so I might do some flip-flaps. I'm finding the center of this brown piece, but before I cut that dovetail, I'm going to shorten that a little bit. Here I start cutting the dovetail. I'm like, no, that's going to be too deep of a dovetail. So I'm going to cut it so that my dovetail ends right about here. So I'm just going to snip that, and I'm not really measuring, I'm just kind of winging it. And then I'll cut straight up from the center. Let's cut it a little bit more. Cut up straight from the center, and I want my dovetail to end right about there, and then I'm going up from the corners. So from the corner up to the center of that snip, and same with that side. There we are. So that'll go right down here. And let's clear this up, and we will get started on my paper layers. I brought in some white cardstock to build this on, and I'm bringing in some mocha ink, just some dark brown, and I'm going to ink around this pattern paper. Now, I jumped ahead a little bit, but using the Scenic Adventure, I created this tree line out of my green cardstock. This is such a fun way to create a border. So that's going to go all the way across this gray piece. Sorry for the sun, I'm at a retreat here, and the sun was shining through those big open windows. I absolutely loved it, but it did make the recording a little off, and we have a lot of shadows going on, but you can see what I'm doing here. So we're just going to kind of slide that back behind, and you can see here where they're matching up, where that seam is, since it's not a 12-inch die, but we'll disguise that. You won't be able to see that once it's all adhered and we start embellishing. I did rip my paper a little bit because I had a blue border going across the top, and then I'm like, why aren't I using my trees? So that's what I'm snipping off here, is a little tear, but that'll be hidden behind these trees anyway, so it won't make much of a difference. I cut the little flowers out of white cardstock, and then I used my tri-blend markers to color those in. So here's what that looks like, and I didn't color all the way down because it's going to hide behind that gray piece. But here are the colors I used of those tri-blend markers. I'm using my Barely art glue, and I'm going to disguise those little seams where my trees line up with these flowers. So that'll go there, and then to balance it out, I added some on the left-hand page as well, even though there's not a seam in those trees. So I'm bringing in some of this peachy pink tone. It's close to my heart color for my title, Echoes of Gunpowder. On the left-hand side, you can see that circle die with the flowers that I colored in. That stamp is from Weekend Adventures. I just stamped it with some brown ink and then used my tri-blend markers to color that in too. Using the alphabet a la mode is how I created the title. Those are a staple in my craft room as well. I'm just going to use my T-square ruler to line up my letters. Make sure those are laying on my page completely straight. I have my Forever Forest dies, and I stamped those in the green color ink. I cut out another circle in that same peach to back this Spotlight on Nature circle. And then I also used some of my dies from that same Scenic Adventure to cut out the trees. So I'm adding some stamped and some die cut trees together in my clusters. Since I am at a retreat, this is how I'm going to leave this layout for now, but I will add a few more details and my journaling at home, so stay tuned for an upcoming video where I will show you the finished product. Thanks for sticking around, and until next time, live a life worth scrapping, guys. Bye.